What's poppin', y'all? On episode 2 of Nicki Minaj's extended Crashout session, which might have some legitimacy to it when we look at some of the things that she's talking about, and even people like Charlemagne who have been critical of Nicki Minaj in the past have said, yo, she has been spitting and she does know a lot of things behind the scenes that people don't know. Like, for example, she had reached out to Charlemagne about something he said about Remy Ma, and she felt like Charlemagne was slighting her, but he didn't know that there was beef between them. And then the next day, Sheether comes out. So she had a heads up of something that was going on and thought Charlemagne did too, but Charlemagne didn't. And she looked crazy or Charlemagne thought she was crazy for tweaking out on him like that. So that's just one example. But more recently, MackWop of TDE, a TDE affiliate, he was just reacting to what was going on with Nicki Minaj on social media like the rest of us. And I'm gonna play you guys this clip right now.
Yo, what's going on, bruh? Oh my God. Update me. This internet crazy. I'm your blood. Hey, Nicki, relax. Relax. Or you get put in the blender like your boy did. Uh-oh. She gotta relax. She gotta relax.
This is just a funny clip. I mean, I'm sure we were all just entertained by it. And this got posted by Hot New Hip Hop, who said MackWop of TDE reacts to the recent online clash between Nicki Minaj and SZA. Nicki, relax before you get put in the blender like your boy did. Who's her boy? Obviously Drake. Who else? And SZA with TDE, they're on tour. Well, SZA's on tour with Kendrick, who was TDE, and he's still very close to those guys. But Nicki Minaj didn't take too well to this, and she said, "Is this a threat?" At FBI, off rip. This is how you know Charleston White influence has really spanned quite far and wide. Because Nicki Minaj, just a couple of years ago, she was threatening and asking for the address of academics for making some comments about her, and said that she was going to send her husband and then big old bloods to him in New Jersey to do something to him, talking like she was a gang leader. And now there's this. Come on now. Still entertaining. And then she says, at MackWop, did you just threaten to harm me? I want this man investigated right away. He has ties to other people who've been a part of very shady business and is now threatening harm as well as admitting to a crime about someone else. Which boy was put in a blender? It seems to me that he's talking about Tory recently being stabbed up in what many believe to be a setup. I'm ready to talk about everything I know. CIA director, these thugs have gone way too far. They have now began public threats due to their leaders feeling above the law. And this is where I say Nicki Minaj might be putting together real things as well as something she's playing up like here. Obviously, she didn't think this guy was really threatening her physically or harm to her whatsoever. But perhaps TDE or their affiliates were involved in something, maybe prison related. And who associates Nicki Minaj with Tory Lanez as well? That's not something that people are like, that's not her boy. They've never really collaborated. Maybe I don't even know if she's shown him love before. I would know. I listened to a lot of Tory Lanez. I followed a lot of what he's had going on for the past 8 to 9 years. So I don't really recall anything. I don't think people would say that's her boy, but perhaps something happened that she knows about and she is saying like, oh, this guy's threatening me. These guys are up to a lot of other shady stuff that may not be legal, and using that to expose it. But hey, that's just me. And then she adds this representative and she says at Rep Luna, and this is Anna Paulina Luna, who is one of the representatives of Florida who has been really pushing for Tory Lanez. We don't know why. We don't know how they got in connection with her, but she's been one of those people that have been at the forefront of trying to get Governor Gavin Newsom to pardon Tory Lanez so he can get out of jail. I don't know why that would happen, or get out of prison, and I don't know how they linked up with her. But that's very interesting because she adds this lady. Initially, she talks about Tory Lanez. So these are a couple of things where she could have added anybody, but it was specifically this lady. And then she goes on, what streaming service is this? I want him removed immediately. If he's not removed, we'll know something. Well, she's on her Karen stuff. And then she says, yo, MackWop, you could have easily arranged to shoot the fade with a man or whatever else you do. You hoe maid, talk ish, then hide behind police. Why you ain't privately drop your low? I want this man locked up before I feel safe to leave my home to work. Nicki Minaj is also in LA and they're in LA. So this just goes to show you Nicki Minaj switching sides now. So she went from being victim, I'm scared, this and that, to, yo, why didn't she do this with the man? So it sounded like she was was going to sick her dog, like her pit bull, her raging pit bull that she keeps in a cage, her husband, on this guy, and maybe he just wasn't replying. And then you have this Rep Luna lady, which I am a bit iffy on. Like you guys know, I don't know what to believe with this Tory Lanez stuff. I do think, like, the guy's done enough time. Free him. That's really what I'm on. But it's fishy. That's what I will say. Like, whatever's going on right now doesn't sit right with me. Not the stabbing and all of that, which doesn't sit right with me as well, because I don't want him to get harmed. But all the sudden influx of support for him, it does not feel natural. It feels manufactured, and I don't know, not manufactured as in fake, but I don't know where it's coming from. And that's where, like, my spidey senses are tingling. So this lady says, please text my cell, forward this to law enforcement immediately. Threats of violence and assassination should be taken very seriously. Hope you're okay. Talk soon. And then she says, thank you. And she says, now they in prison gonna be doing the WAP. That's a funny one. And then she goes on and on, but MackWop replies, and this guy's just streaming, so this is free content for him. And he replies with the following clips that I'm going to play you guys, which I think we get some musical context here, which I'm excited to talk about.
I feel it's the Barb's fault that's empowering all of this right here. Like, I feel like when she did this, the Barb should have been stepping in. Like, at this point in Nicki's career, we ain't, like, the Barbs, y'all been leading Nicki down this dark alley. I'm gonna be honest. Y'all are leading Nicki Minaj down a dark alley to the point of no return. Y'all are not letting this lady age gracefully in hip hop. Y'all not letting her age gracefully. Like, when I'm looking at Nicki Minaj, I'm like, damn, why Nicki Minaj ain't in her Clips era? Like, why Nicki Minaj ain't in her Clips era doing it up? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, you supposed to be in your bag right now. You ain't supposed to be hollering at MackWop on Twitter. Like, what the f***? Like, and I'm like, excuse me. I'm like, damn, like, not Nicki. Not Nicki. Like, and truth in the details, chat. I felt, if I'm being completely honest with y'all, I felt I wasn't even going hard at her. I wouldn't even want to go at her because that's Nicki Minaj. Now I'm like, damn, why Nicki Minaj clout chasing the WAP? Like, you know what I'm saying? What you doing? You got an album? What you got going on? She going that business. Anyway, let's slow it down. So, Nicki, I wasn't threatening you, sweetheart. I don't want nothing done to you. I ain't even worried about you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they ain't even worried about you. But, nigga, you done there. Like, with all due respect, like,
one thing I love is how quick the energy switch up. Like, once the police and federal government gets involved, they're like, man, I wasn't even, I didn't mean it like that. I was just joking around, which I do think he was joking around. This guy seems like he was just playing games. But it's nice to see the energy shift. Like, you start talking about that federal government, people see RICOs dropping left and right. They see arrests happening everywhere in hip hop. People are shaking in their boots. But one thing that this guy posted, he's like, oh yeah, Barb's let you go through with this. And he posts Fifi with 6ix9ine as an example of what she shouldn't have done. What? Dog, that is one and this is where you get people that are they're dunce caps when it comes to something like, they're like, oh, 6ix9ine's a rat, like, so you shouldn't work with him. And I think it wasn't Fifi before. I remember, no, Trolls was after. Yeah, Fifi was before 6ix9ine even did the whole rat and stuff. But they're like, oh, if this guy's a rat and you working with him, that was wrong. But Fifi is like 8 times platinum. That thing is nearly diamond. The songs that it's in company with? Super Bass is over diamond. So Super Bass is number 1. Bang Bang, I think, is number 2. Starships is number 3. And then I believe you have Fifi after that. Or it's in top 5. So no, that was not a mistake by Nicki Minaj whatsoever. That song was a smash hit. It was one of the best decisions ever. It was a great song, like, performance-wise. And yeah, I don't see why he was talking about that. And then people talking about, like, she should be on her Clips stuff. If Nicki Minaj is ever in her Clips stuff, I don't even know what that looks like. I don't know what that sounds like. I don't know what that means. But for her to be in her Clips bag, what is that? like not dropping for 20 years or 15 years. Well, Nicki Minaj took a big enough break from her first album. And Nicki Minaj just dropped a good tape, or a follow-up tape, really, like just a year and a half or 2 years ago. So, and then I like the part where he's like, yo, she clout chasing the WAP. I know he's excited he got replied to by Nicki Minaj. Hell, I would be too. Now, the scary part is the way in which she replied to him. That is not a way you want to be replied to. But then she goes on and says, imagine adding yourself to a Rico. LOL, hope you feel cool, gossip of the city. You about to be the talk of the town and the jails. It's snitching time, just like Desiree Perez snitched. And if Jigga Man co-signed her snitching, then I know he'll be cool with mine, bookie. And yeah, now she kind of ties this back into Roc Nation, who she has been waging war with as of late, and it's concerning. Now, this is where, like, I don't know if the RICO that they're talking about has to do with potentially, because this is where the web comes in. So this representative, she says, can confirm, I spoke with Nicki Minaj directly and will be doing everything we can to ensure her safety. We take threats of violence and assassination very seriously. RICO is also illegal. I'm deeply concerned that there has been unchecked corruption within certain aspects of the rap industry. Artists should be respected and not afraid of managers, labels, etc. And then Nicki says, thank you for your time and attention to these matters as it relates to these thugs. I don't know where this web comes in, because what does TDE have to do with this lady who seems to be going against Roc Nation and defending Tory Lanez? And now Nicki mentions Tory Lanez. So we get this fusion, which Nicki Minaj is Young Money, Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne was having conversations with Jay, and it seemed like he was surprised to see that he wasn't the one that was doing the Super Bowl in New Orleans, Louisiana, where he's originally from, as well as Hot Boys Cash Money. So perhaps Jay had an issue with Drake and Nicki, so decided to make sure that Wayne didn't go because he might bring them out. But that's the only way that I could potentially see Roc Nation being brought into this. And maybe Tory Lanez is just Nicki Minaj's way of trying to get back at Roc Nation. But what does TDE have to do with this? I guess that's where I'm confused. And this is where my theory that I came up with in the beginning of like Nicki Minaj saying some truth, it starts to like fall apart. The web starts to fall apart and you're like, this just sounds like some ramblings. But let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. Like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. And I'm going to see y'all in the next one.